So whether you're looking to prevent colds and flus, or you're worried about COVID-19, or you just have a compromised immune system, many people ask this question: what vitamins boost my immune system, or what vitamins can I take to boost my immune system? And in this video, we're going to talk about specific vitamins and nutrients that have been researched and what the research says about those. And I'm also going to talk about some of my personal favorite things that I use personally and recommend to patients, tactics and specific products that I use for myself when I'm not feeling very good or feel like I might be coming down with something. If you are interested in this type of information, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get more videos like this. All right, let's talk about what vitamins boost my immune system. Whether you're worried about COVID-19, you have cold, flu, or it's just cold and flu season, at some point everyone asks, what vitamins boost your immune system? This video will look at evidence we have for certain vitamins boosting the immune system. We'll look at a few different vitamins and nutrients: vitamin E, zinc, omega-3 fatty acids, probiotics, and vitamin D. Before I jump into that, I want to give you a little context about the role of vitamins and nutrients in general on the immune system. That is, there's a certain level of vitamin and nutrients in general nutrition that is needed for all cells to function at their optimal level. Things like the RDA establish a minimum amount to prevent disease states from inadequate level. This would be like scurvy, beriberi, rickets, and things like that. So just because you have enough to meet the RDA does not always mean that your tissues and cells are in the optimal range for them to be functioning at their peak levels. So for many vitamins, we don't know what that optimal level is. So that's where we get into some of the controversy. We also don't know the effect of pushing vitamins and nutrient levels well above adequate level. With that said, we're going to look at what we do know, what the research says about these vitamins and supplements on boosting the immune system. Just so you know, I'm getting this information from a review article that goes into a lot of detail on some of the current research and thinking on this, and I'll put a link to that in the description. And this is a quote from that research article. In all the bodily systems and tissues, appropriate supply of different types of nutrients is essential for maintaining cell homeostasis and performing respective functions. While the immune system is no exception, its specific defense functions determine what immune cells may be particularly sensitive to the status of certain nutrients and food components. A primary task for nutritional immunology research is to identify which dietary factors and to define their optimal intake in terms of maintaining immunological balance and strengthening defense against pathogens. Vitamin D has been shown to have a protective effect against getting infections when adequate levels of vitamin D are maintained. Adequate levels are defined as 20 nanograms per milliliter or above for 25-hydroxy vitamin D3. The effect of vitamin D on the immune system is clearly researched, and it enhances the particular parts of the immune system called the innate immune system, and it has a stimulatory effect on the cells of the innate immune system. So cells like macrophages, neutrophils, and monocytes will proliferate and increase in number and incubated in the presence of vitamin D. So it clearly has a stimulatory effect on immune cells and a protective effect against getting infections when it's maintained above what's considered adequate levels. The role of vitamin D in the adaptive immune function, like the T cells and the B cells, is less clear. Like many vitamins, taking above the adequate amount may not have much effect for the immune system, but my personal opinion on this is maintaining 25-hydroxy vitamin D3 around 40 to 50 nanograms per ml. This is a safe range. Anything above that may not be safe, or it may be, as the lab notes, anything above 50 you're at increased risk for hypercalcemia, which can be a problem. Vitamin E is mostly known for its fat-soluble antioxidant function, so it works as an antioxidant in fat-soluble tissues. So it mostly sits inside the cell membranes in our tissues, and it works as a protective, has a protective effect against free radicals, oxidation, and inflammation. As far as the immune system goes, it seems to work by enhancing the killer T cell function and enhancing the signals between the T cells and other adaptive immune cells. Clinically, it has been shown to reduce the rate of infection overall when given at a dose of 2,000 IUs and above. However, other studies that tried to replicate this did not find the same positive effect of giving vitamin E. One possible reason for this is that there are different types of vitamin E. There are different subunits of vitamin E, and so if they were giving one specific subunit that changed the other subunit, it has to be in a relative balance, the vitamin E subunits. So the follow-up studies may not have given a balanced subunit of vitamin E. And so when you do take vitamin E, you want to make sure you're taking a mixture of all the vitamin E's, or tocopherols, mixed tocopherols, and tocotrienols. Zinc has been noted for its many effects on the immune system, and zinc seems to have an effect on both the adaptive and the innate immune cell function. And zinc deficiency clearly creates an increased risk for infections, both bacterial and viral infections. Adding zinc in the place of adequate levels, it's not clear if that's going to enhance your immune cell function. However, several have found that supplemental zinc does reduce respiratory tract infections. Just as zinc deficiency can decrease immune function, taking too much zinc can also impair your immune function. Short bursts of low dose, moderate zinc intake is safe for most people. If you plan on taking zinc on a regular basis, you should have blood tests done to determine how much zinc you have, because you can become toxic in zinc, and it can also deplete some of your other trace minerals that you need to have, as the absorption of zinc can inhibit the absorption of other trace minerals if you're taking it a lot. So you have to be careful about that. Intake of probiotics have a direct effect on the mucosal cells in the digestive tract and the immune cells in and around the digestive tract. Because most of our immune system is located around the digestive tract, when you take probiotics, you're having that effect on the local mucosal cells, which then translates or transfers onto an effect of the immune cells as well. And most of those immune cells are in these conglomerates called Peyer's patches. So probiotics do have a local effect, but studies have also shown that they have more systemic effects as well. And here's a quote from that article that I was referring to. Several studies have indicated that probiotics could induce pro-inflammatory cytokines meaning like inflammation, to facilitate an immune response against a viral infection or bacterial infection. And they also induce anti-inflammatory cytokines that can mitigate excessive inflammatory reactions and lead to a more balanced immune response. So that's kind of what the gist of it is with probiotics, and a lot of natural substances work like this, but probiotics have also been shown to enhance vaccination response. It also has been shown to be resistant against infection in the GI tract and respiratory tract, and decrease allergies. So many people want to know, okay, which probiotic should I take? Which one's best for me? Which brand, etc.? Well, that's a difficult thing to answer because everyone's microbiome is slightly different. So what's optimal for you may not be optimal for me and the next person, because there's so much heterogeneity, like uniqueness among everyone in determining what's optimal. So we don't yet know what an optimal microbiome looks like. We can see, general patterns. And so that's why, these types of probiotics that are in the lactobacillus strain and the bifido strain, those do tend to be beneficial across the board. But there's also spore-forming probiotics and things like this. So there's benefits and potential downsides to each of these. But the main point of this video is to point out that probiotics are helpful in modulating immune response when you do have some kind of infection, and they can actually help fight off infections, especially when it's like GI related and upper respiratory tract. Which probiotic you take will determine, the effectiveness of it. And it's hard to say, but if you stick with a lactobacillus or even bifido strains, those are going to be generally more, beneficial for most people. Sometimes there's other things put in probiotics like prebiotics. Those can be harmful for some. So, don't just assume, you take a probiotic and it's going to be good for you. You have to kind of be careful with it. It is pretty harmless, but some of your symptoms could get worse if you have histamine problems and other issues like this. Bottom line is probiotics are beneficial, but be cognizant of your symptoms and health issues that may come up when you start a new probiotic. Bottom line is that having optimal digestive tract is very helpful for fighting against infections and having optimal immune response. So if you're someone that, is challenged digestively, or you don't even know what optimal digestion is, look at that first before you go slamming a bunch of probiotics, because if you do have digestive issues, you need to sort through why you have that issue. Could be food related, could be IBS or some other chronic digestive issue like Crohn's or ulcerative colitis. There's many things that could be going on with your digestive tract. It's important to find out what that is so you can effectively treat that. Probiotics are not the answer to everything, but they can be helpful. Omega-3 fatty acids are also very helpful for the immune system, as they are for many aspects of our body. But omega-3 fatty acids can modulate, which means balance, the adaptive and innate immune system, and across the board, our body's inflammation, by changing the raw material available for the immune cell signal. When we talk about inflammation in the body, we're mostly talking about an increased activity of the immune system, and that could be the innate immune system or the adaptive immune system. When you have a relatively low levels of omega-3 fatty acids, you may have a increased overall immune signal because you don't have as much of the omega-3 fatty acid. That's because when they are broken down by inflammatory things like damage to the cell membrane, omega-3 fatty acids turn into signals that are anti-inflammatory. And when other types of fatty acids break down, like arachidonic acid, which is a fatty acid found in a lot of animal sources, those turn into pro-inflammatory things. Now, you do need some of that in order to have an adequate response to pathogens and other potential harmful things that can be coming in the body. But really, what we're talking about here is having a balanced response. You don't want to have your immune system to be overly excited, but you don't want it to be deficient in its response. And because most people are low in omega-3 fatty acids, it can help in modulating or balancing out the overall inflammation and immune response. So when someone asks me the question, what vitamins boost your immune system, my question back to them is, more about what's going on with their health. Why would they need a boosted immune system? Now, of course, some people are perfectly healthy as far as they know, and that will be the second part of this. But one of the main things that I look at when talking about immune system is digestion. So if you have any digestive issues and you're looking to boost your immune system with supplements and vitamins and herbs and things like this, take a look at what's going on with your digestive tract on a day-to-day basis and how your bowel movements are and things like that, because that will probably get you a lot more improvement in your overall immune function and ability to fight things off than, just taking a supplement that says, immune boosting. And then in a more direct way to answer this, if everything is perfectly fine, I do like to use mushroom extracts. So we'll put a link to a specific type of product that we like to use for, personally use and for patients for general immune support. Also, if you're low in vitamin D and some of these things that we talked about in the video, they can be very helpful as well. So in summary, both animal and human studies have given promising findings suggesting a benefit of things like vitamin D, omega-3 fatty acids for chronic inflammatory things like autoimmune disorders, for example. And things like vitamin D, vitamin E, zinc, and even probiotic have been shown to be protective against infections. But the discrepancy in some of the research kind of leaves a little to be desired in terms of further research that needs to verify some of these findings. And the complexity is that there's so many different aspects of the immune system. It is a challenge to be able to track the exact changes that are happening when some of these things are given. The other problem is that there's not as much funding for these types of endeavors because there's not as much financial gain from researching these types of things. So there's both complexities in the nutritional immunology sphere and maybe lack of funding. Even though there's not clear consensus that these things are going to help, I think they are very safe as long as you're getting regular lab checks and being followed by a doctor. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a better understanding of what vitamins boost your immune system. If you like the video, please click on the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you do have questions about this or immune system related questions, drop them in the comment section. I may do a separate video on that if it seems like it's broad enough or enough interest in that. Otherwise, I'll just answer the question. Thank you again for watching. We'll see you next time.